It's market update time. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Let's get straight into it. That's what I say. All right, market update time. So just a quick run across the board. Dow Jones up 0.1%. S&P up 0.13%, Russell up 0.2%, Nasdaq down 0.14%. Now, obviously, what actually happened in the markets is the markets obviously shot up in the morning, but then had a pretty strong sell-off during the afternoon. I actually watched the last 2.5 hours. I watched the last 2.5 hours. I got up like 3 o'clock Australia time to watch the last 2.5 hours. So yeah, so you can see, so everything was moving up. One thing I did notice, and let me actually just go to the actual daily chart, and let me bring up, say, 3 months worth of view. You can see what sort of happened on this type of bar. It was really, really interesting. We got like the market ran up, but came back down. Man, my throat. I've been doing so many recordings lately. It's crazy. So the market ran up, and then came back down. If you're looking at the bar, let me actually bring up, say, just a close-up view, and I want to show you this. So you can see how this is actually a reversal bar and an increase in volume. So it's a reversal bar and increase in volume. So again, that's if you're looking at the bar itself, that's actually not a good sign for follow through tomorrow. If it was going to follow through tomorrow. I don't think so it will follow through tomorrow, and I'll show you the reason why I think that. But anyway, we don't know what's going to happen. If you guys have been following some of my comments on the comment section, you'll be able to see what I'm saying there. But you can see that's what happened there on the Dow Jones. Let's have a look at the S&P. The S&P, you can actually see that the S&P did a very, very similar thing as well too. It actually ran up, but it actually closed all the way down through there as well too. So we got like a little hammer. In fact, guys, if I actually let me bring up the candlestick chart, because I think you'll be able to see. Let me bring up the daily candlestick chart. You'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about here a bit better. So you can see this candlestick. This is on the Dow Jones. This here is obviously a reversal candlestick pattern as well too. Very, very, very bearish on the S&P. You look at on the Russell. The Russell made like a little spinning top. Everything's making topping patterns right now. Topping patterns. It's really, really interesting. So reversal, and then also the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq actually opened. The Nasdaq didn't even get nowhere near closing its gap. I actually thought, well, I was looking at the Russell, and it was really weird. I was looking at the markets this morning. I'm like, come on, Nasdaq, get up there, close this damn gap, because I believe once the gap's closed, then we can get a move to the downside. But here's what I'm saying, guys: the move to the downside is coming quicker than you think. If we think this market's going to hold here and blast off the new highs and keep going to new highs, no, that's what I say. I got a huge cup of green tea with lemon in it this morning. Huge cup of green tea. Plus, I've also got a green drink with me as well too. So, green drink as in wheatgrass, barley grass. Got to keep the health up as well too. I've been doing so many hours in these markets. Got to try and keep that health going, eh? So, the Nasdaq is just as I was saying yesterday. The Nasdaq is still showing a lot of weakness where the market's running up and now it's going sideways. So I'm actually getting ready for the move down, for a big move down. Not just a small move down, we're talking a big move down. Now, a big move down means like a good couple percent. We generally don't get a couple percent move, or even a 1% move generally in a day. So I believe we'll like to start getting a couple percent move, and then maybe we start to get some big movement on the downside. Big movement on the downside to me means like maybe we can start to see a good move down towards these lows. That's what I mean by big move. I don't mean crash 50% in a month. No, that's just nuts. And I don't believe we're going to crash 50% in a month. Where do I think we're going to go? Well, looking on the Nasdaq, if I go back to the weekly chart, looking on the Nasdaq, I do believe we're likely to stall here and then roll over. You can see here, obviously, what's going on through there. But I believe where we are right now, I believe we can get a good 20 or so percent, maybe even a bit more, on the Nasdaq. On the Russell again, to me, that's just ugly. This is ugly, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. I want to show you guys something that's gonna, I think guys, gonna make you guys sort of stand up a minute. So I think we're gonna race, and I think we can get down to bottom here, so a good 20-30% by the end of the year. Okay, by the end of the year. The S&P, same thing. I think we can race and we can get down towards this low here. So a good 20-30% drop. I think we can get down to there by the end of the year. I don't think we'll get a 50% crash. No, maybe 20-30% move down. And the same with the Dow Jones. What's happening with the Dow Jones right now? Again, I think we're likely to stop here, and then we can see a good drop. And I think we're likely to beat these lows. And once that happens, we can get a good drop down, a good 20 or so percent, just above 20% on the Dow Jones as well too. So that's what I'm looking for this year. I don't believe we're likely to start going wham straight down. Now that could happen. And we're talking about, anything that could happen. And I was talking on one of my videos to Simon HHH100, and he said that don't rule out the black swan event at NATO build up on the Russian borders. China are in the process of declaring air defense zone over the entire SCC. Bad stuff in Europe. King Obama wanting a third term. Simon HHH, if you're watching this, you made me laugh. Thanks for that. Another 9/11 false flag. USD blows up over AIIB. Who knows? Exactly right. So who knows? But I do believe we're likely to see a big move on the downside coming the next 6 months. But that's the bigger picture, okay? That's the bigger picture. That's where I see it. I don't believe we're going to get 50% crash, but who knows? I do believe there's going to be a black swan event of some sort, meaning like a bank collapses or something happens out of the nowhere, because the government knows there's no way out of this apart from letting the market collapse. They just can't keep propping it up. So the government knows that. So I believe the government needs a reason. The government needs a reason to keep this market going, to keep this market up. So with the government needing a reason to keep this market up, I believe there was a reason why they put out a poor jobs number. So they had a reason not to put up interest rates, because they know if they put up interest rates, they're going to get another 2016 January. Big move on the downside, 15% in like a week. All right. So that's what I believe they're going to see. But I believe the market's holding up, and I believe they're waiting for something to happen, and they can blame that. And I believe we are going to get a black swan event, something. And yeah, all I say, guys, the next 6 months is going to be really, really crazy. So there we go, guys. I think that's the bigger picture, and the smaller picture, as I said before, the smaller picture for me, if you look at this, the market's running up, having a reversal pattern there on the Dow Jones, the S&P reversal. You can see it looks like it tried to beat these highs. Now it's getting a reversal. Same with the Russell, but same with the Nasdaq as well too. Now, one thing I want you guys to have a look at this. When you're looking at the Nasdaq and the Russell and all these charts, one thing I want to say is this. How the market works is when a market rallies up sharply, that is in line with looking for a big crash. Okay, that is in line for looking for a big crash. So if I just look at, say, let's actually see if I can bring up, you know what, I'm just going to bring back this here. So when the market has a vertical move to the high side, that tells me the market is getting that's a pump and dump in the market. It happens all the time when you'll see it, where the market will run up and just run up, and then bam, and it'll burst and it'll just go straight back down. I saw this in when was it? McDonald's, MCD. I saw this in McDonald's as well too. So, and one of the reasons why I went short in McDonald's, and I'm still short to this day, meaning I've got put options, is you can see this market just ran up, and you can see by looking at the weekly chart, you can see how far this thing up. It just ran up and then went sideways for about a month, and then we had just an explosion to the high side. But if you see this explosion to the high side and I bring up the daily chart, you can see how this market took off, and then what do we get? We got this sideways. We got this sort of a big strong run up, and then we got this sort of weak buyers formation. And I put this in yesterday's video, if you remember. So if you have a look at that, you can see here that we actually have had that point through there. Let's bring up a pen. That point through there, big strong buyers, and now we're getting these weaker buyers. And guess what happens? Eventually, it comes down and it breaks hard, and then it breaks hard, and then it comes down to me, and then that's now likely because this is now breaking a weekly resistance. Now, I did get into a short pattern put options on McDonald's, and I see a lot more downside to come. So I've been saying for a while, I believe McDonald's is going to come down and fill this gap over the next couple of months, and so that's the reason why I'm in it. So with that being said, guys, I want to show you. Let's try that again. Let's go to the Dow Jones. I had to restart my software again. I have so many tabs. See all my different tabs up there down the bottom here? I have so many different tabs. Trading is my life. It has been since 2005, somewhere around there. So it's been my life ever since. So anyway, so the reason why what I was saying, guys, is that we've got a big rally, and what I was saying before is that we can see where the market is now. I want to bring up something here. Let me bring up this screen through here. Actually, you know what? Let me bring up this screen here, and I want to show you this on what I saw on the Dow Jones. Now you can see something on the Dow Jones here. Now, firstly, this top line up the top here, that's that resistance up there. Now on the Dow Jones, you can see how the market this was actually forming. That was where the market closed, and all I do is just connect those 2 points through there. And as you can see, I just connected that point through there and that point through there, and you can see the market rejected through there and came down and closed lower through there. Now, obviously, yes, the market's there stepping up, but it did sort of come off that trend line. But you can see how it's squeezing up into this triangle pattern through here. I believe we're likely to get the breakout to the downside. But obviously we just don't know about that. But I do say the way the Dow Jones is still acting. Where the Dow Jones is a lot weaker than all the other markets. All the other markets are beating the highs for the year. Dow Jones is not. That's telling you something. I promise you guys, that's telling you something. That something's not right. The Dow Jones is not getting new highs. Everything else is. Yeah, that's the divergence I look for before to tell me something big's about to happen, and we don't know when. Might take a couple of weeks from that, but something big's about to happen. But you can see that obviously, you can see the market is obviously, rallying up, and you can see that that the market rallied up through here and then reversed off those trend lines. Now, what I do say is that when you can see that through there, the S&P, what did the S&P do? The S&P obviously still stayed in that reversal flag, again, like McDonald's, but you can see the market ran up. The market's in this little here, and they got like a little reversal candlestick at the top of that, again reversing at the top of this here, hitting both of these resistance lines and coming down. Now you've got the Russell as well too. The Russell's in a very, very, very steep pattern. You can see the market ran up, and it ran up like this. Again, very, very similar to McDonald's, but McDonald's had a bit of a wider channel on the upside. What happened to McDonald's? It just broke down. Right, same with the Russell, and then what's happened? Same with the Nasdaq. It's the exact same part as McDonald's, right? The exact same setup. Now again, you're looking at the exact same setup where the market has a big strong run up and then a weak buys, strong buys, weak buys. That whole pattern there, 80 to 90% of the time equals this. And when you do get a breakout, you generally get a breakout pretty hard, and I think we're likely to see a hard breakout to the downside. Nasdaq couldn't close the gap. Nasdaq was the weakest out of the whole lot of them. I actually thought Nasdaq was Nasdaq for me was the one that I was actually looking for to close the gap, but it obviously didn't. Now, one thing I do want to show you is this. Let me bring up, say, all indexes here. I'm going to bring up this here. And I want to show you something from afar. Obviously, I've got the VIX here. Look at the VIX. The VIX actually opened up low. The VIX was going to open up about $12.70 and then ran straight up. Same with the S&P, the SPY, which is obviously the ETF. You can see it was much weaker than the actual cash itself. So you can see that through there. But I didn't want to show you that. I want you guys to keep your eyes on all these 4 charts here. Because this is one thing I've really learned in my early years while trading, and this is the best information you can learn while trading. If something has a dramatic move on the upside, time and price need to catch up. So we generally get the opposite elastic band. Okay, if something moves up really quickly, then it generally comes down pretty quickly as well too. So if you're looking at the last leg, of the S&P, you can see, let's have a look at this here. So you can see this last leg on this S&P has just been straight up like that. Look at this Nasdaq, again, just straight up like that. And we know that, again, this is looking from afar, right? We squeeze the chart right up. We know there's a short-term little reversal flag and all that sort of stuff happening. And we know there's a little reversal candlestick there. But this is where the truth's at, right? But not only that, look at this Russell. This Russell has just been steaming to the high side. That is not, to me, a move. It's like, okay, well, we just like it to continue moving up. Right? Because when the market does that, it slowly steps up. So it runs up a little bit and then comes back down. Runs up a little bit and so on and so forth. Big run up. Look what the obviously the Dow Jones are doing. What's it doing? Obviously lower low. And now it's running up like that through there. As you can see, like that through there. So that's where it's running up. So you can see, guys, that to me, the angle of this move to the high side is not telling me that we're likely to just blast off and just keep going up without any decent pullback. So looking at these, I see that obviously the S&P is breaking new highs for the year. The Nasdaq is doing the same thing. Russell is just cream pieing, penetrating all-time new highs on a deep level all the way up, but Dow Jones is not. What's going on there? So that tells me once again, guys, that something is not right. The Dow Jones is not. Dow Jones, everything else is blasting up, but Dow Jones is not. This is a sign, guys. Trust me, this is a sign. So that's what I wanted to show you guys, and I wanted to share with you that what I see. This big vertical move to the high side, we looked at the actual bar itself for today. We looked at the short-term move for today. But then when you start to bring on, once again, you start to bring on your trend lines. Let me bring on all the trend lines now, so we can actually see these here. And you'll be able to see a bit what I'm talking about here. So let me just take them off there now. Take that off. And so you can see what I'm talking about here now, guys. You can see this S&P has been running up into this area of resistance. Same with this Dow Jones. If I open up this Dow Jones, once again, you can see this Dow Jones is squeezing up into this. But this, guys, this is a sign here. If this was the strongest, then I'd expect this to continue racing up to new highs. Same with the Nasdaq, and same with the Russell as well too. Russell, once again, Russell is obviously just creating a little reversal pattern at the top there as well too. So there we go, guys. That's what I wanted to share with you. Yes, the market has been moving up to the side, and a little bit more movement to the upside. I was hoping to see the Nasdaq close its gap. Maybe it's going to happen tonight, or maybe tonight's the day where we actually start getting that decent pullback. Now, decent pullback simply means that it's just going to snap back, and I believe these lows could be taken out here real soon. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course. And I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.